Tokyo is a city of contrasts, where futuristic towers sit beside century-old temples, and nestled in one quiet corner of the city is a paradise for makers, crafters, and textile lovers. Welcome to Nippori Fabric Town. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we are diving deep into one of my favorite places in Tokyo, Nippori and Yanaka. I'll take you through some hidden gems, historic sites, and of course, a massive fabric haul. Let's go! We start this video at the west exit of Nippori Station, the opposite side of Fabric Town. By the way, since I was planning to do a lot of shopping, I brought a small suitcase with me. But I thought it might get in the way while filming and walking around, so I left it in a locker at the station before heading out. Now, whether that turns out to be a good decision or a bad one, you have to watch until the end to find out. This part of town feels much slower and calmer, with fewer tourists than other areas like Ginza, Asakusa or Ueno. It's perfect for a relaxed day of wandering. It's still 8 a.m, so you'll see people out commuting. Here's a tip. If you're using public transport in Tokyo, try to avoid rush hour between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m. It's that crowded, to the point that it can make you feel unwell. With people commuting into central Tokyo from the outskirts. So plan to reach your destination either before 7:30 or after 9:30. I was actually aiming to arrive by 7:30 to dodge the rush, but I took the wrong train and ended up on a tough journey. My main reason for coming to Nippori is fabric shopping for my craft business. But I also wanted to explore the area, and I found a breakfast spot that opens early, so we're heading there first. At the west exit of Nippori Station, you'll find Yanaka Ginza. If you head right from here, you'll discover a charming shopping street that has retained its retro atmosphere. Narrow alleys, traditional wooden houses, and unique local shops. The area is affectionately known as Cat Town thanks to its many feline residents and cat-themed shops. You see cat statues, cat-shaped trees, and even a shrine dedicated to cats. Places like Asakusa are popular for that traditional Tokyo vibe, especially the famous Sensoji Temple, Nakamisedori Shopping Street, and Rikisha rides. But if you're after something less crowded, more local, or a bit modern, spots like Yanaka are wonderful alternatives. I actually came back here later and filmed myself visiting a cat cafe and exploring more, so I'll save that for another video. On my way to breakfast, I spotted a cute cafe offering shaved ice desserts topped with fresh fruit. So tempting. On the left side, there is Chomyoji Temple, connected to the Mito Tokugawa family and originally built in the early 1600s. It's especially known for its weeping cherry blossoms in spring. If you're visiting between late March and early April, be sure to stop by. Oh, I noticed a shop right in front of me displaying a samurai helmet. It wasn't open yet since it was still early, but I looked it up later and found out they specialize in hanging scrolls, framed artworks, shikishi, decorative paper, and tanzaku poem cards, mostly featuring works by deceased artists. They carry a wide range of authentic Japanese art, especially literary paintings, nanga from the late Edo to Showa periods, as well as pieces by artists from the Kano Shijo and Tosa schools. If you're searching for genuine historical artwork, this might be a spot worth checking out. Yes, we've finally arrived at our first stop of the day, breakfast here. Here is one of those places that stays with you. Tucked away in Tokyo's Yanaka neighborhood, it used to be an old wooden apartment building, built shortly after World War II. Today, it's been lovingly renovated into a warm, intimate space with a cafe downstairs and a guest house and shop upstairs. What left a strong impression on me was their breakfast. It's called Tabisuru Asagohan, or traveling breakfast, and it's not your usual eggs and toast kind of meal. Each breakfast is themed after a different region of Japan, so you feel like you're traveling just by eating. The dishes change regularly and are crafted with so much care and creativity. Even if you're not staying there, I'd say it's worth visiting in the morning. The atmosphere is quiet, nostalgic, and full of character, just like the Yanaka area itself. This was actually the morning after I arrived in Japan, following a 13-hour flight from the UK. I couldn't sleep at all the night before. Jet lag hit me hard, and I'd only managed about 2 hours of rest. My mind and body felt completely out of sync and was in a fog. But honestly, this breakfast and a good cup of coffee brought me back to life. In Japanese culture, we're taught from a young age never to leave even a single grain of rice on your plate. It's a way of showing respect to the people who grew and prepared the food. Growing up in Japan, this was taught very strictly. On this trip back home, I visited many restaurants and noticed something that made me a bit sad. Huge portions served just for visual impact, and a lot of food left uneaten. Some responsibility lies with the restaurants, sure, but I hope anyone visiting Japan will try to be mindful and only order what they can truly enjoy and finish. Stepping out of the cafe, still warmed by that lovely breakfast, I noticed a small, quiet park just a few steps away. At first, it looked like just another peaceful green spot in Tokyo, but I soon learned it was once the home of Okakura Tenshin. If you haven't heard of him, you're not alone. I hadn't remembered much either. But Okakura Tenshin, also known as Okakura Kakuzo, was a hugely influential figure in Japanese art history. He lived during the Meiji era, 1868 to 1912, when Japan was modernizing rapidly. While the country rushed to adopt Western ways, Tenshin dedicated himself to preserving traditional Japanese art and aesthetics. He co-founded the Tokyo School of Fine Arts in 1887, now Tokyo University of the Arts, and played a major role in developing the Tokyo National Museum. Most interestingly, he wrote the Book of Tea in English in 1906, introducing Japanese philosophy and aesthetics to the West through the lens of the tea ceremony. It moved me to learn that over 120 years ago, someone had already recognized the beauty of Japanese culture and worked so hard to preserve it. Since moving to the UK, I've come to see Japan with fresh eyes. It's something I didn't fully appreciate until I was away. Now, as a kimono upcycler, I try, in my own small way, to share that beauty with the world. Standing in that quiet park, thinking about Tenshin's life and work, I felt a quiet encouragement. Like he was gently reminding me that I'm on the right path. I was getting close to the station where I'd started this walk, but before heading over to the other side, to the famous Nippori fabric town, I spotted a large temple nearby. Since I was already in the area, I thought, why not stop by? This temple called Hogyoji has long been known as a place to admire the moon, so much so that it's also been nicknamed Tsukimi-dera or Moon Viewing Temple. Back in the Edo period, it was beloved by the city's refined, poetic souls, those who appreciated beauty, nature, and a touch of elegance in everyday life. Originally, the temple was founded inside Edo Castle, but it was later moved to Kanda, then to Yanaka, and finally relocated to its current spot in Nishi-Nippori in 1709. Many haiku poets are buried here, and on the temple grounds, you find several stone monuments engraved with their verses. One of them is this by Santoka Takeneda, a more modern, free-spirited poet known for wandering and writing with raw honesty. His haiku reads, Hotto, Tokyo ni kiteru, tsuki ga aru. Loosely translated, relieved, I've come to Tokyo, and there's the moon. It's simple but powerful. You can feel the sense of quiet relief and grounding. Arriving in the city, looking up and seeing something consistent and familiar, the moon. These poems, resting quietly in stone among the graves, are like whispers from the past, reminding us to pause, look up, and notice the moment we're in. I think many of you watching this video can relate to that feeling in your own way. I stepped out of the temple and started heading across the bridge to the opposite side of the station, when I stumbled upon something interesting again. That's right. Nippori Station is actually a well-known spot among train enthusiasts. With around 2,500 trains and 20 different types passing through each day, it's a bit of paradise for railway fans. There's even a special balcony area nicknamed a train museum. It's completely free to use and is popular with everyone from kids to adults who love trains. If you're not a train geek, and I'm not, chances are if you're Japanese, you've at least heard of this spot in passing. But I've spent a little too much time wandering today, so I'm going to resist the detour this time and keep moving forward. On the way to Fabric Town, I passed Cozy Corner. They had limited edition Pokemon cakes. I know a lot of people who visit Japan are really into manga and anime. And honestly, Japan is kind of a dreamland for that. And if there's one character you see everywhere, it's Pikachu. As someone who grew up in Japan, I guess you could say I'm a bit of Pokemon native. The TV show actually started right around the time I was in elementary school. Back then, I was completely obsessed with Pikachu. I had so many plush toys, big ones, small ones, medium ones, name it. Pikachu was basically my childhood companion. Now I live in the UK and it's been about a year since my last visit to Japan. Coming back, I'm kind of shocked in a fun way to see just how everywhere Pikachu still is. From souvenir shops to signs at train stations, he's practically part of the cityscape. For anime lovers, I imagine this must feel like walking through a real-life dream. Just around the corner, I spotted a Moss Burger, one of Japan's most beloved homegrown burger chains. And it's definitely not your average fast food. If you visit in Japan, you're probably excited to try all the local food. Sushi, ramen, donburi, tempura, and yes, they're all amazing. But here's something most people don't realize. A lot of traditional Japanese food actually contains quite a bit of sugar, and many dishes are deep fried or heavy on raw ingredients. That's totally fine for a few days, but if you're staying in Japan longer, it can start to wear on your stomach. I've heard from friends and travelers alike that after a while, your body starts craving something more familiar and easier to digest. It's usually when people think, maybe I'll just grab McDonald's. But wait, before you do, try Moss Burger instead. It's a Japanese take on the burger, made to order with fresh ingredients and a bit more love in every bite. My personal recommendation? The classic Moss Burger. A juicy beef patty topped with the original meat sauce and fresh veggies, paired with their signature onion potato wedges. So simple but so satisfying. Give it a try next time you're in Japan, you might just become a fan. And finally, I made it. Here is the famous Nippori Fabric Town. If you love sewing, this is truly a dream destination. Stretching across several blocks, Nippori Fabric Town is home to over 80 fabric and textile shops. Everything from traditional Japanese prints and high-end silks to zippers, buttons, and tools you didn't even know existed. It's a place where hobbyists, fashion students, costume designers, and professional tailors all come to get inspired and stocked up. The first time I came here was about 6 years ago, when I had just started making clothes as a side hustle. I still clearly remember buying fabrics here for the very first time, and you know what? I still wear the clothes I made with those fabrics today. So this time, I decided to revisit only those shops I went to back then. The ones that helped me get started, the ones filled with nostalgia. Let's see, are they still there? Do they still feel the same? I'm honestly a little excited and maybe even a bit nervous to find out. The first stop is here. It's one of the places I visited on that first trip years ago, and it's still here, just as charming as I remember. What I love about this shop is that they sell fabric in 2 to 3 meter cuts, just the right amount to make a skirt or a simple dress and at very reasonable prices. The patents? Honestly, I have no idea where they source them from, but so many are unique. I've never seen them anywhere else but here. This time I completely lost myself in the scrap fabric corner. I'm not even kidding. I stood there frozen for a while, overwhelmed in the best way. I was this close to buying the entire shelf, so I dragged myself upstairs. Up on the second floor, there are even more printed fabrics, and towards the back, a solid selection of heavier materials. By the way, this shop also has a strong online store. I checked it earlier. They sometimes run online-only specials like 100 yen per meter clearance sales. Totally worth browsing if you can't make it in person. Oh, and look what I found. A photo of a dress I made with fabric from this very shop about 6 years ago. It's a nursing-friendly dress I made to match with my kids. I added a long pair in the front for easy breastfeeding. Such a special piece with so many memories. Of course, I went a little overboard and bought a bunch of fabric at the first stop alone. And now I'm seriously regretting leaving my suitcase in a locker at the west exit of the station. Too far to go back now, so I guess I'll just have to manage and move on to the next shop. This shop is known for its great selection of heavyweight cotton fabrics, many with the cutest prints, and yes, they're still as cute as ever. But this time, I found something really special, a fabric that had a kind of William Morris vibe. But if you looked closely, the patterns were filled with adorable little animals. There were so many color waves that I couldn't decide where to look. My eyes kept jumping from one bowl to the next.
かわいいですね。いや、そうなんですよ。これはなんか特にウィリアム・モリスじゃなくて。
ないです。もどきです。
あ、もどきですよね。
なんでしょう。作って売っても全然問題ないです。
ねえ。
はい。
ありがとうございます。
すごくよく売れます。
いや、売れるこれ。
Once I stepped inside, I noticed they had a big collection of traditional Japanese patterns too. Not just fabric, they're well stocked with zippers, threads, and other sewing materials. Actually, the first time I came to here was kind of by chance. I had bought fabric from another shop in Nippori and asked if they sold matching thread, but they didn't. Instead, they sent me here. They even helped me pick out the exact matching thread. It was my first visit, and I've been coming back here ever since. And yes, I totally overbought again. Told myself it was for making howdy jackets, but really, how many howdy do I think I'm going to make? I had a lovely little chat with one of the shopkeepers. He told me that although cherry blossom season ends by mid-April, this time of the year is actually perfect for travelers. Not too hot, not too cold. But come June, it's rainy season, and by July, Japan turns into a hot, humid oven. So foot traffic usually drops after that. Most of the shops here in Nippori are small family-run businesses. In today's Japan, where giant shopping malls and big supermarkets are taking over, traditional shopping streets like this one are slowly disappearing. That's why I want to do whatever I can, even if it's just sharing stories like this to help preserve this history. My arms are about to fall off from all this shopping, and I've only been to 2 shops, especially since the 3rd shop I really want to visit is still ahead. But wait, something flashy caught my eye, so of course I had to stop and peek inside. It is a store famous for its ribbons, trims, and over-the-top costume decorations. It almost feels like a specialty shop for oshikatsu. If you're unfamiliar with oshikatsu, it's basically the practice of supporting your favorite idol, singer, or character. People make super decorative fans, banners, and outfits for concerts and events. This store has everything you'd need for that. It's honestly amazing. Next up, another branch. This one is packed with books on sewing, pattern making, and more. Handcraft culture is huge in Japan, and with the rise of social media, I really feel like there are more creators than ever before. It's become a form of self-expression. I'm one of them. I upcycle old kimono, often ones that are right on the edge of being thrown away, and turn them into everyday items. For me, it's not just about promoting sustainable fashion. I want the person wearing it to feel like they're carrying something special, something unique. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone love what I made with my own hands. As I wander further into the store, I came across a sashiko section. Sashiko is a form of traditional Japanese embroidery that's recently had a revival. It was originally used to reinforce fabric, but today it's appreciated as a decorative art form, one that's meditative, slow, and meaningful. In the back, there's also a knitting section. I haven't tried knitting yet, maybe because all you need is yarn and needles, and I know I'll get obsessed. So I'm saving it as a future joy. As I leave, I notice someone rolling a suitcase through the store. Smart move. Meanwhile, I'm still carrying all my shopping bags by hand, and my arm? They're about to give out. And of course, I couldn't help but peek into the next shop. I spotted the cutest little fabric scraps. As an upcycling artist, I'm always drawn to these small, colorful remnants. You might have noticed by now, but I have a soft spot for blues, navy tones, and anything paired with yellow. I really wanted to buy some, but honestly my arms were about to fall off, so I resisted. Next door again, yes, another shop. They had tiny fabric bundles, neatly packaged, perfect for small handmade items. These little packs are great when you're making accessories or small crafts. Plus, since they're budget friendly, you can buy lots of different kinds without guilt. Then, yet another shop. This one didn't sell fabric, but buttons. Not just any buttons, each one was unique, like little works of art. Even spotted something with Thomas the Tank Engine on it. Was it a button too? Probably. Kids would love it. There were a few fabrics too. Some of them looked like they were imported from the US, and I noticed some pre-cut laminated fabric. Great for placemats or lunch mats. It reminded me of a time I made a bib for my baby using similar fabric. It turned out cute, but I accidentally made the neck hole too small, and it looked like my child might suffocate. So yes, it was never used. Oh, and they had buttons from Italy too. So many beautiful ones. How are you supposed to choose? There were even candy-like buttons sold by the bag for 500 yen. Not bad at all. When my kids were little, I used to pick out all the fabric and designs myself, make the clothes, and dress them up in what I liked. But once they developed their own opinions, that changed completely. Now I bring them with me, let them choose their own fabric, and they get so excited about what we'll make together. It makes me happy too. Honestly, my kids are so lucky. They have their very own personal designer who will turn any fabric they choose into something just for them. What more could you ask for? We're still not at my final destination, so let's keep moving. But of course, another shop catches my eye. Stacks of fabric scraps, neatly bundled 40 by 40 centimeter for just 330 yen. That's a good deal. They also sell Oxford fabric by the meter. For jewelry makers or small-scale creators, it's a dream to have so many affordable options. As I headed upstairs, I noticed denim-like cotton printed with traditional Japanese motifs. Not too thick, not too thin, perfect for aprons, for example. Even if you can't sew, they'd make lovely noren curtains. By the way, if you haven't noticed, in Japan, what's called the ground floor elsewhere is actually the first floor. The next level up is the second floor. Pretty weird, right? The second floor is like a hidden treasure hunt. There's even Demon Slayer printed fabric, plus charming border prints perfect for a summer dress. Back outside, I spot another store, this time the interior fabrics branch. Outside, rolls of laminated fabric are displayed, maybe for wall decor. Inside, there are curtain fabrics too. And just ahead, Buzz Lightyear? What's he doing here? Turns out, it's a leather shop. They're selling 3 leather scrubs for 100 yen out front. You could totally mix and match these to create a one-of-a-kind handbag, for example. Next door, another leather specialty store. Honestly, anything feels possible here. That's the magic of Nippori. This bag is breaking my arm. I spot a store with a French flag in the logo. Looks like a lace shop. Next to a rice shop, there's a vintage fabric store. I'd never been, but I bookmarked it before my trip. Even though my goal this time was to source vintage kimono fabric from another part of Japan, I had to stop inside. Inside the shop, I found beautiful yukata. Those are casual summer kimonos traditionally made of cotton or synthetic blends, worn during festivals and warm weather. There were also children's yukata, so vibrant and full of personality. I've always loved designs that feature bright, multicolored patterns. One orange piece caught my eye, decorated with chrysanthemums, a symbol of long life and renewal, and maple leaves, which signify the changing of seasons and beauty in tradition. It's heartbreaking to know that despite their cultural significance and intricate craftsmanship, over 500 tons of kimonos are discarded in Japan every single year. Many are sitting in closets for decades, unworn and forgotten. Others are simply thrown away. These are not just garments, they're pieces of history, each with their own story, motifs, and meaning. That's why a big part of my creative mission is to rescue these forgotten fabrics and turn them into completely new items. Not traditional garments, but modern, one-of-a-kind creations you'd never expect. Bags, dresses, homeware that still hold the spirit of the kimono, but with a fresh twist. So if you're curious what happens next with some of the fabric I found today, make sure to check out my other videos and posts after this one. You'll see how these humble scraps and vintage textiles transform into stunning, sustainable fashion you can truly feel connected to. Underneath the piles, hidden gems. I found one with pink roses, rare. It's a Nagoya obi, which is shorter and easier to tie for everyday wear. Still, for me, these are a bit over budget. These are in such good condition, they are great for wearing as is. But for upcycling purposes, it's a little too pricey, so I moved on. Oh! Someone's trying on a kimono. The shop owner even helps dress her, so kind. And the kimono? With oversized round patterns in orange, yellow, white, and pink, it was just too cute. Caved and bought. Well, I had to. Seeing my arms full, the shopkeeper even offered a large bag and helped repack everything. Outside the store, I see someone rolling a suitcase. Jealous. Yes, a wheeled suitcase is essential in Nippori, fabric town. I learned that hard way. Finally, I made it to my last stop. Not the flashy costume shop, but next door. They carry a massive collection of modern fabrics, including the best of Morris and French General lines. They also have printed knits, washable stretch fabrics, and lots of traditional Japanese cotton prints. Best thing about Nippori is how each store has a slightly different selection. Sure, you can shop online, but it's not the same as seeing and feeling the fabric in person. On a past visit, I bought a William Morris print and a polyester knit here. Both items I made sold out quickly. This time, I was determined to stock up on more Morris fabric.
ちょっとこんな予定ではなかったんですよ。はい。それ結構重いです。はい。
Previously, some Morris fabrics weren't allowed for commercial use, but now all of them are fair game. And these are made in Japan, known for exceptional quality and durability. If you're planning a special sewing project, I highly recommend adding some Morris to your stash. Since this way, my final store, I loosened my wallet strings. Arms full, brain fried, I had no idea how I'd carry everything. Then, the shop owner offered to ship everything to my house, free of charge, since I'd passed the minimum order. Even better, they said I could include everything I'd bought earlier today. This shop is at the far end of Nippori Fabric Town, farthest from the station, but it's peaceful, welcoming, and absolutely worth the walk.
以前なんか5、6年前に一度こちらで買わせていただいて、ありがとうございます。また来たいって、ちょっと今海外に引っ越しちゃって、今回帰国で絶対ここには来ようと思ってきました。
泣いたから次日本になるし。
ありがとうございます。
One thing I realized on this trip, bringing a rolling suitcase is a must. Also, since Nippori is full of independently owned shops, most are closed on Sunday and national holidays. So if you're planning a visit, make sure to check the dates in advance. Opening hours also vary. Some stores open at 9 a.m., while others don't open until 11. For example, the previous store opens at 9 a.m., so you can start shopping early in the morning. When planning your visit, it's helpful to check the opening times and figure out your route in advance. Since I went on a Friday morning, it wasn't crowded at all. I had a lovely time chatting with shop owners and enjoying a relaxed shopping experience. I wonder when I'll be able to come back again. Now that my hands are finally free of bags, I'm heading to my next destination. Nippori isn't just about fabric. It has great food too. I had looked up some places beforehand. Because it's not a major tourist spot, you can enjoy delicious meals without the crowds and for much less than in Ginza or Asakusa. After walking a bit from the last shop, I found it, finally. The sign is so tiny, but here it is, a Soba restaurant. It already smells amazing from outside. I was seated in a tatami room in the back. Apparently, the building used to be a traditional inn, and this room was the best one, once used for important meetings. I ordered their recommended soba and seasonal tempura. The sakura shrimp fritter, kakiage, was especially fragrant and delicious. It didn't leave any lingering oil smell. Let me explain. Sakura ebi or cherry blossom shrimp are small shrimp typically enjoyed in spring. When people think of Japanese food, they often think of sushi and ramen, but there's so much more. Japan has distinct seasons, and thanks to its rich fishing and farming industries, seasonal ingredients are a big part of the cuisine. By the way, when you're seated in a tatami room in Japan, it's customary to sit in a formal position called seiza, where you'll kneel and sit on your heels. I haven't done that in a while, so I didn't. If you're planning to visit Japan, maybe try practicing it in a bit. It might come in handy. I was visiting Japan from the UK with my family for 3 weeks, and this was the only day I had entirely to myself, my only solo overnight outing, so I made the most of it. At the Soba's restaurant, I ended up chatting with a local couple sitting next to me. When I told them I live in the UK, they said they've been reading British novels and would love to visit one day. But the wife has trouble with her legs, so a long-haul flight might be tough. The restaurant didn't have counter seats open, so they kindly seated her with a chair in the tatami room. I really hope they find a way to make the trip someday. With my stomach full, I headed to the next spot. Japan has an excellent public transportation system, of course, but you still do a lot of walking, so be sure to wear comfortable shoes. After about 20 minutes of walking, I arrived at a bakery. This place is beloved by locals but not widely known among tourists. You might not associate Japan with bread, but Japanese bakeries are amazing. Japanese cuisine is all about craftsmanship and precision, and that applies to bread too. I bought melon bread, salted butter rolls, rum raisin, cream buns, a custard pie, and a cannoli. I plan to have them later at the hotel as a snack and for breakfast the next morning. But I wasn't done yet. I still hadn't visited a proper matcha cafe. I'm not talking about touristy ones. I was headed to a place that makes real matcha lattes from scratch. On the way, I stumbled upon a retro little shop selling kendama and kaleidoscopes. I picked up a kendama as a souvenir for my child. It cost 2,500 yen. You can get one for 100 yen at a discount store nowadays, but I bought it anyway because it was handmade in Japan. As you might have noticed throughout this video, Japan has amazing traditional crafts and culture, but these things are at risk of disappearing. By making small choices like shopping at these little stores, we can help preserve that heritage. At the same shop, I also bought a pair of matching chopsticks and a wooden rice paddle for my husband and me. Both of ours had broken, so I had planned to replace them during this trip. Really happy with these finds. I continued on into the Yanaka area, which is a historic district with old-style streets and a nostalgic atmosphere. Then I spotted a kabuto samurai helmet at what looked like an art gallery. Discovering things like this is part of what makes traveling so special. A bit further down, I came across a small torii gate. It was a Fuji-zuka. Japanese people have worshipped Mount Fuji for centuries. In the Edo period, groups called Fujiko were formed. Since not everyone could travel to Mount Fuji, small replicas called Fujizuka were built around Tokyo. There are still 73 today. This one is the Yanaka Fuji. The black stone in the middle is Kuroboku, lava from Mount Fuji. Larger rocks are arranged to resemble the mountain itself, and it even enshrines a small shrine so that people could pray as if they had climbed the real thing. This particular Fujizuka is tucked between temples in a triangular plot of land. Old Edo maps mark the area as Yanaka village and show it was once home to this mound and a well, making it a gathering spot for locals. It was cloudy today, so I couldn't see Mount Fuji, but when you visit, try looking at its direction from here. Also, I didn't notice while filming, but there was a stamp you could press from Goshuin, a kind of commemorative temple seal. If anyone visits and gets the stamp, please let me know in the comments. Next door was a temple called Myofukuji. According to their website, they have seasonal flowers throughout the year, double cherry blossom in spring, morning glories in summer, higambana and chrysanthemum in fall, and dai citrus in winter. Like church, anyone can enter these temples. When you pass through the gate, try not to step on the threshold, bow once, and be respectful of other visiting. At most temples and shrines, you find temizuya, a place to purify your hands and mouth before entering. After wandering the streets for a while longer, I finally made it to the cafe, just 10 minutes before closing. They were already getting ready to shut down, but kindly made me a fresh matcha latte from scratch. It was incredible. Right next door was a traditional candy shop that's been around for generations. They were selling Kintaro ame and Bekko ame. The cheerful owner, over 90 years old, told me he keeps working to stay mentally sharp. I wonder if the shop will still be there next time I visit. If you visit after this video, please leave a comment and let me know how he's doing. That wrapped up my Nippori Yanaka adventure. I walked all the way back to Ueno Station. On the way, I found a vending machine selling bottled dashi broth with whole fish inside. There was also an old streetcar on display, once part of Tokyo's transit system. I also came across someone dressed beautifully in kimono. I asked for a photo. I wonder if they were someone famous. If you recognize them, please let me know. I arrived in Nippori around 8 a.m. and walked non-stop until 4 p.m. over 20,000 steps. Between the jet lag and lack of sleep, I was completely wiped out. I even slept through my alarm the next morning and only woke up when the hotel called to say I'd missed checkout. If you're coming to Japan, make sure to bring your walking shoes and your stamina. Thanks so much for watching. And this was only day 1 of my 3-week trip. I'll be uploading more videos soon from Asakusa, Jugaoka, Kamata, and even Kyoto and Osaka. So be sure to follow along. See you next time. またね